Hello, you're very welcome back. I decided that I must say something about the male anger that was expressed at the female in part two's reading. I've copied this particular part of the reading over, but I've inserted pictures instead of the usual text to accompany it. The reading appears very problematic and politically incorrect. We've become used to the idea now of gender equality after the long struggle of Tirza and her sisters of this world to gain equal rights. And it isn't over yet, not by a long shot. Blake was very impressed by Mary Wollstonecraft, Shelley's wife, who was a feminist, and feminism features throughout his poems. But we must remember that Blake understands a perfectly balanced psyche as one where the individual parts adopt their proper station, and we've read how Albion's psyche fell apart when Luva stopped caring about his. In Albion, we see how passion, reason, imagination, and sense need to be balanced, but that's not all. Albion is also the unity of himself and his emanation, who is Jerusalem. When Albion falls, Jerusalem is set adrift, so to speak, from her moorings, and a shadowy creature called Vala takes over. In the lower world, Vala is manifested by Rahab and Tirzah. Albion's bitter reproach of the nature of his wife at this time expresses the bitterness and the anger he feels that the female aspect broke out to carve her own life, and in the process spoiled both of their lives. He believes, probably thinking in terms of the Bible where Eve comes out of the life of Adam, that she cannot continue indefinitely to live outside him. The next lines show how Ollalon, as the collective form of Milton's three wives and three daughters, has this reunion in mind and apparently even startles the daughters of Beulah with her revolutionary decision to harmonize with her husband. Milton, in turn, is prepared to give up his selfhood, his ego, to pave the way to reconciliation. I'm reminded of David Gates' song, Make It With You, when I read how it is said that the beliefs of the female must agree with the beliefs of the male for harmony to be achieved. That strikes me as a basic truth, but I think an argument could be made against it. Anyway, I've put a link to the song below. There's no denying that Blake sees a hierarchy of the sexes in the makeup of the unified human creature. In letting us know that he believes man is God, he says that from the female perspective, he is her lord and husband. I can't help thinking of Sarah's attitude towards Abraham in the book of Genesis. It's summed up in the first letter of Peter in the New Testament, and I'll put in a link to it below. So let's have a look at this contentious text. And the divine voice was heard in the songs of Beulah, saying, When I first married you, I gave you all my whole soul. I thought that you would love my loves and joy in my delights, seeking for pleasures in my pleasures, O daughter of Babylon. Then thou wast lovely, mild and gentle, now thou art terrible in jealousy and unlovely in my sight, because thou hast cruelly cut off my loves in fury, till I have no love left for thee. Thy love depends on him thou lovest, and on his dear loves depend thy pleasures, which thou hast cut off by jealousy. Therefore I show my jealousy and set before you death. Behold, Milton descended to redeem the female shade from death eternal. Such your lot, to be continually redeemed by death and misery of those you love, and by annihilation. When the sixfold female perceives that Milton annihilates himself, that seeing all his loves by her cut off, he leaves her also, entirely abstracting himself from female loves, she shall relent in fear of death. She shall begin to give her maidens to her husband, delighting in his delight, and then alone begins the happy female joy, as it is done in Beulah. And thou, O virgin Babylon, mother of whoredoms, shalt bring Jerusalem in thine arms in the night watches, and no longer turning her a wandering harlot in the streets, shall give her into the arms of God, your Lord and husband. Such are the songs of Beulah in the lamentations of Olilon. So, there it is. I've done it as best I can. I must leave it now in the mind of the listeners. So, just to finish off, I'd like to say that Blake alludes to Rahab at the end of the text. She's the face of Babylon the Great to him. She's like a madame of a worldwide brothel who creates harlots to walk the streets. And Blake hopes that women will instead cling to their husbands in that biblical way. Now, we would be wrong to think that Rahab is really a woman. She's a representation of the religious systems in this world that rob women of their freedom, as indeed the political systems also do, and these are traditionally run by men. The Song of Beulah overall, I think, in this reading it's a prayer rising up from the subconscious for love and harmony. So on that note, I thank you again for listening and hope to see you for the next video. Bye for now.